session needs some explanation about what we're going to do. So to give a little bit of background, just say that one of the concerns of all of us together is to ask a question about how do we become better readers of Dundin. One of the things that we've been doing quite a lot, listening to people, putting Dundin into different kinds of contexts, which is one important way of reading, but it may not be the only way of reading. And so part of the question about, are there other things that we can see by reading in different experimental ways, is what we want to try to do today. We're taking advantage of the fact that we're in Jerusalem to just say that what we want to do is what in Jewish intellectual traditions is reading in a havruta. I should ask Yigal to say the word properly because I can't say.
You just did. You said it perfect.
I can't say the first consonant. Which basically means reading with friends. The reason why you do that is that you need help from other people to overcome your own limitations in terms of what you're able to see. Let me just tell all of you that I'm not sure I want this videotaped because I'm about to quote the former Secretary of Defense in the United States, Donald Rumsfeld.
Oh, dear me.
Don't do
which I've checked to see that my medical insurance is paid up in terms of what may happen. But Rumsfeld did say a very useful thing, which he said that there are three kinds of knowns. There are the known knowns, the things that we know. There are the known unknowns, the things that we know that we don't know. And then there are the unknown unknowns. And those are the ones that he pointed out rightly give us the most difficulty. We could say, that Dundin was aware of this. Part of the power of reading Dundin is that he's constantly estranging us from things that we think we know and asking us to see it in a different way. Part of this is just the design of the Kavya Darsha, putting things together, not structurally, but modularly, so that each thing is connected to something else. Each time you're connected to something different, something else appears. So you're constantly putting yourself in a position to rethink what you know on the basis of trying to discover some future unknown that you're not even aware that you don't know. The practice of reading in a havruta is another way of getting at trying to become aware of unknown unknowns, in which someone else's point of view, their reading of a text, is almost rarely the same as our own. One way of dealing with this is to say, well, you have your position, I have mine. But the idea of a havruta is that this person is a friend and has your best interest at heart. And that they are trying to help you to see what you can't see yourself because of your own limitations, your own psychological blocks, your own dispositions to defend yourself, and so on. There was a havruta going on that goes on each week here, I think, reading some Jewish text. I was copying all these things for us to use in this exercise. It was very lively. People were arguing with each other. The one word of Hebrew that I understood coming out of the room always, every time I went by, was lo, no. And so one of the things that you just say, the purpose of a havruta is not to say can, it is to say lo, no. And so what you're doing all the time is to say something that I see differently than you in this same text that we're reading together. So we're going to break up the next until 7 o'clock into 4 different sections, 4 different exercises. The way we'll do it is I'm going to ask you to break up into groups of 4, and then to read the passage that I'll hand out in stages alone, then to share with the other people in your group. This is what I think is the most important thing here. let me just say, in terms of breaking up with the groups, don't get all the Burma people together, all the kind of the Tamil. I don't want to see a Tamil ghetto again, all right? It's like just too horrible for those of us studying Sri Lanka to keep on seeing this Tamil ghetto over here, right? So no Tamil ghettos. But one thing to try to have in every group is, there's lots among us who are relatively unfamiliar with the Sanskrit terminology. They know the categories in others. You want that person who doesn't know what Dundon says about Vyatireka to say, let me tell you what it really means. You want someone else who's approached it from another way to begin oftentimes. So that person may be the most important portion of each group. Let me explain. We'll move through different ways of reading. Each time I'll introduce it. The first one, though, is in homage to our Sarod player, Tom Hunter, who sent a very interesting set of things for us to use in this Havruta. Being himself, he didn't follow the request to send it about Swabhavokti or Atishayokti or Bhavika, but he sent something about Upreksha. But the question is important for us. Let me quote something from a conversation with Anne Monius on the bust of the museum. Would be, it's on the model of, if you put enough monkeys in front of a typewriter typing, would they type Hamlet eventually?
I did not say this.
I'm from Atishayokti, all right? So, but what it would be is, if you read enough Kavya, if you read enough Kavya, would basically, Dundon without having to read the guy, all right? So this is just a question, and Java raises that. We don't know that Dundon was there, but there is a lot of Dundon there. And so this is it's the opposite of, was it Tagore when he went to Java and he said, everywhere I see India, but I don't recognize it. And here, with Javanese literature, you say, everywhere I recognize it, I just can't figure out how it's connected to India, except in specific ways that don't connect with Dundon directly. So the first passage is something that Tom sent to us.
I don't mind being Dundon.
You guys already claimed that position. And so the basic question would be let me phrase it this way and then the caveat. If this is the only thing you know about Upreksha, what do you know? But don't begin by asking someone else, what is Upreksha? So one of the things to just say is, if this is the only thing you know about some figure, what is it that you know here? All right? So just form into groups of friends, new friends, not linguistically or regionally defined or friends. And then the passages will go around. They're not stapled, but they're collated in different ways.
That sounds great.
Why not? We've already decided.
Isn't that going to join the...
We've already decided that's the ultimate icon.
We resisted.
This is the one that's the most
I was sitting next to Jennifer. I was the one who wasn't teaching this. Tried it.
I don't prepared for that.
All right.
Okay, are you going to
Maybe because I have Upreksha.
Let's grab Victor here and somebody else. Victor. We'll get him.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Well, I don't think it's better. Is that I don't know how strict these are. I don't know. I think the word is Victor, please.
We haven't gotten anything.
We have a group. We have a wonderful, successfully got
It's not so easy to find. Are there more copies?
Christians has a weight of this.
There should be 40 copies. So
Where are the handouts?
you need the text. You're just reading the text. You don't need a roadmap. You're making up the roadmap. This is all you know. What do you know about what is Upreksha? The things that Tom literally wrote. And you have to, what you have to struggle with.
Wait a second. Can we take Nalankara and
No, he's going to give us.
The text is going around.
You're going to give us stuff.
Where are the copies of the text? This is a mess.
Here we go.
Maybe the TA.
If this is the only thing you know about Upreksha, what do you know? And you can't turn to Gary and say, tell me what Upreksha is.